Hey guys, it's been a couple of weeks since I spoke about my racing and training, and it probably looks like I haven't had a shave since then, but that's my way of trying to trick myself into not thinking the weather's so cold here in our Sydney winter, but at this stage that's not really working for me. So let's get on with it and talk about some of the things that did work for me with my recovery between Port Macquarie in early May, the Ironman there, and Ironman Cairns, the Asia Pacific titles in mid-June, where I had probably a better race, definitely a faster race than what I had at Port Macquarie. Let's start with the fact that I raced well in both races and I felt like I was in form even when I left Port Macquarie. I just felt like the race situation probably didn't go in my favour, even though I still got a solid result from there. So I didn't actually leave Cairns going, I need to get form. Sorry, Port Macquarie that is, saying that I need to find form. I went to Cairns just needing to make sure I had recovered properly and kept in touch with, my swim, bike, run, and stayed in a little bit of constant training. So my major focus was around recovery and maintaining, obviously. There are a couple of things I try to do there a little bit extra. So I normally alternate fortnightly my massage and physio appointments, whereas between those races for the 5 weeks, I had a massage and a physio booked in every single week to try and stay on top of things for a couple of reasons. I do find massage helps me recover from training, and the other one is I'm fortunate to have a physio as a partner, so it's a little bit easier for me to go and see the physio, but I have found that often it picks up things quickly if I'm there all the time. I tend to find that when I get tired, I'll get tight hips, or a lot of my issues come from my hips, and that stops that, especially in a time when I was vulnerable between 2 races. So they're 2 things that I really invested in, time and money, between the 2 events to make sure that I was there on the day and in good form. The other one was probably more on my coach's side, because we both believed that the form was there. It was a matter of looking after myself. So for a couple of weeks there, my heart rate seemed to be sitting quite high at any given intensity. So Matt and myself sort of watched it. He dialed back the training and set me some limits. So most people would say, why would you do that? Often I would train on pace. That's how I would gauge my intensities. But if at a certain pace my heart rate is far higher, I think it reflects that I haven't recovered just yet. And your muscles are very important. Sorry, your heart's an important muscle as well. So you don't want to be there continually whacking it if it hasn't recovered properly. So from that point of view, I think it might mean it makes it a bit easier for me to replicate this again in the future, because we've now got some good numbers around what I should do, the fact that it was sitting high for a good couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks perhaps, and what we need to do to manage that so that I can recover properly and look after myself to then back up again. And I think the 2 Ironmans, it worked well. It was not long before Cairns that I started to feel right again, and my body started to feel like I could do those paces comfortably again that I had pre-Ironman Port Macquarie. But I think you've just got to trust that performance is still going to be there and not that far away. Just because there's a couple of weeks where you've been a bit slower, it doesn't mean you're not training and you've totally lost your fitness. It's more a reflection of where your body's at, the fact that you need to look after it, and perhaps you need to prioritise some of those things to make sure that you can then do that again, rather than try to reach for more, so to speak, if you're trying to do another race close to one you've already completed. So I hope that helps. There's a few things that we did to try and get me from race to race, and I think it worked pretty well for me, racing better at Cairns in the Ironman Asia Pacific Champs than I did in Port Macquarie in my first Ironman, partly due to race situation, but also because of how we managed it. So talk to you soon.